All right, we are recording now, so I want to say welcome back to everyone for the 2018 calendar year. As things pick back up, everyone's back in school and waiting on the snowstorm tomorrow, right? But in any effect, today's Zoom session is our 17th of the school year. So thanks if you have watched any of these, be it live or after the fact. Thanks for tuning in for all of these. Hopefully, we've imparted some knowledge along the way. And we want to impart some more knowledge today about creating a podcast. This is something that podcasting kind of came about. It's been a while, probably late 90s, early 2000s, when it became started to become a little easier to record some audio. People started to do, especially radio stations, started to do podcasts as ways to share a short segment of an entire radio show. So if you didn't want to have to sit to listen to something for an hour on the radio, or you wanted to just catch what was the local news, radio stations started kind of clipping up a little bit of what they were putting on air and basically making that audio kind of on demand. It kind of took on some different meanings for different people, and there started to be a few shows back in the day, about the time you guys were born, as you're watching this and listening to this. But in the last 4 or 5 years, it has become easier to record and decent audio to begin with, and it's become even more easy to upload your audio to be able to share that in different places. And with the advent, obviously, of social media, podcasting has come back in full form. So we do a podcast that we're kind of down to one, if you will. Hi, Sarah. You're late, by the way. I'm looking at her up there. But we have we've rounded back into form with sharing a lot of different podcasting. So what we do, the one podcast that we do now is called Why I Coach, and I'll talk about Why I Coach in a little bit. A couple years ago, when I first started at Strive, we were doing Friday Night Spotlight. That was a podcast just about football games on Fridays. We had what else? There was the Locker Room podcast that was talking with coaches. We took Prep Huddle Live. That was our live video show, and basically broke it down into a podcast version that was audio only. Basically, a podcast is audio on demand. You guys are all probably listening to music in one way, shape, or form, Spotify or whatever it might be. So this is just basically spoken word on demand, however you guys, whenever you guys want to hear it. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the software, including the stuff that I use when I make our podcasts, and another possibility as well that comes on all of the Macs. That's good. Free is great. What equipment you need, it's not a lot, and where you can upload. And we'll talk about that, and then we'll have a project for you. And then we've got a little PS at the end of this one, because when we back in August, when we're going through our list of Zoom sessions that we were going to talk about throughout the year. We did not have, this is how fast technology has changed, we did not have the ability to do what we are currently doing back in August. So you guys are at the forefront of what we get to do as well. So as far as software that I use to podcast, really you can do just about anything. It's all about recording the audio. So how can you do that? You could take your phone, right? Voice memo, set it down on the table, hit record your podcast, whatever that might be. You can plug in a very, very nice $high-dollar microphone, goes into a $high-dollar soundboard, into the software, whatever it might be. The biggest thing, though, is the software, I think, that you're going to edit with. What I use is called Audacity. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here real quick. And you're going to see yourselves shortly, and then you're going to not. So this is what I use. This is called Audacity, and for me, it's pretty easy. I also use this at the radio station I worked at before I started with Strive. So I had a pretty good background in this. There's Audacity. There's Cool Edit. There is GarageBand. GarageBand is what is on Macintosh, on Apple MacBooks nowadays. That comes free. We were talking about Macintosh yesterday, so funny how that works. All of these are fine programs to use, and I could talk more about Audacity if you guys really wanted me to, but it's real easy to hit record your track, and you see the waveforms pop up here, and then hit stop, and you've got a track of audio, and I can highlight and delete it. I can highlight it and put some different effects on it. I can change the pitch. I can change the speed. I can make it sound pretty funny.
Hey Eric, we see your Slack conversation. We don't see what you're doing.
You don't see my what? Well, I don't want to do that. Go back here. Now what do you see?
Same thing.
Still Slack. Well, darn it anyway. All right, hold on. I'll get there. Desktop 2. No, I don't want desktop 1. Now what do you see?
We see your Google Doc. Oh, there we go.
There's Audacity.
Audacity.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
So it's easy. Well, then here, let me start over. Okay, so it's easy to hit record, get your waveforms, and this is just registering on the built-in microphone, so it's just picking up my headset. If I had a USB soundboard like you guys have, if you do announcing for your games, that USB soundboard with the nice headsets and the nice microphones works just fine coming into Audacity. Same setup as what you were before. So the cool thing about Audacity, I can highlight and I can hit delete. I can highlight and apply an effect. I can apply an echo if I really wanted to. I can do all sorts of different things. And it's going to think for a second. This is just yep. That's just a bad example there. But lots of different stuff there. You go file, you go export, you create your MP3, you select where you want it to go. Boom, you've got an MP3. Pretty easy to do. You can do multiple. You can do I think it's up to 32 tracks of audio stacked on top of each other. So pretty cool when it's all said and done. What Audacity is. Okay, now I want to go back. There I am. I'm going to stop my share. So now I'm back to video. Hi there. So that's Audacity. GarageBand, very similar. You can pick, are you doing instrumental? Are you doing the voice? Obviously, whatever microphone you're looking at. And I see I have a chat from Andy. Andy, in fact, this morning, I typed the setup guide available for using the USB mixer for mic headsets for Strive and or podcasting. I literally typed it this morning. Sarah, you got it shared. So yes, if you want the how-to, it's how to plug in the headsets, how to set up all of the controls on the soundboard itself, and what that should look like. And it will have how to get the soundboard into Wirecast or into Audacity. That it kind of works the same way. So yes, Andy, and I know Rob, we got an email this morning from Rob that he was very excited about all of this. So hopefully, Rob, this goes through a little bit. So Audacity, GarageBand, both perfectly fine. Like I said, Cool Edit was actually something I used in college and is still around. If you have the Adobe Suite, Adobe Audition, very similar to Audacity, works the same way. Audacity is a free download. GarageBand comes on Macs, so it's definitely free. Equipment-wise, like I said, it might just be your phone. It might be that you plug in Audacity and you just record something with your headset. Maybe it's you talking by yourself. So all you need is the microphone in your earbuds. That's all you need, right? You can use a USB soundboard and have the headsets that you use for a ball game. You can use that as the microphone that goes into the headset, just like normal. You can have a little nicer microphone. We've got a Rode NT1, and if you want to know more about Rode, Sarah, was that in October we did the full 5 things we like about Rode microphones, right? So got a whole thing on that. It's about what's cool about Rode mics. But the biggest thing is more important than what the equipment that you're using is what you're actually saying. Because if you're saying something that's interesting, people will stick around even if it's less than ideal sound because your equipment isn't the top of the line stuff. You don't need top of the line stuff to have a good podcast. You do need to have a good podcast, and then if you want to add some top of the line equipment stuff, well, then you're on your way to being a professional. And then the third thing really to talk about is where to upload. So SoundCloud is what we use. They have got different accounts. You can have it kind of limits you as far as how much you can upload, but SoundCloud has free accounts where you can upload. I think it's up to 6 hours of audio. So if you're doing a podcast that averages 5-10 minutes, boy, you can get a lot of podcasts on one account for SoundCloud, and then you can always kind of delete them as you go too. That's not a big deal. One thing that is fairly new, and it's not quite the same, but it's not bad, is if you record your audio and then drop that into, say, Windows Movie Maker or iMovie or Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, and you put a picture on top of that, on top of your audio, maybe it's just a graphic that is on the screen for the entire time, you can actually upload that file to YouTube. Again, so now you're working within YouTube, but a lot of people are using that anyway. But it's still a place to host that sound, that audio, and then the biggest thing after that. So you've had the right software, you've got something put together and edited. You've got you've got your equipment, obviously what you were doing. You've got it uploaded, but you've got to tell people where to go listen to that. Right. So the biggest thing that you'll see us do is I'm putting out the Why I Coach podcast once a week. And I always tweet a link directly to SoundCloud. Now, the cool thing about SoundCloud and Twitter is if you tweet the SoundCloud link, when it shows up in your feed on Twitter on your phone and you hit play on it, you don't actually leave the Twitter app. You just play it and the audio is right there within it. So that's kind of a nice feature. We also put that link and embed it into a post on our Strive Sports website so that you can see that. In fact, I can let me do this again here. Hopefully I do it right. Nope, this is going to be over here. There's green. So this is kind of a little bit of what SoundCloud looks like, and this is our Strive Sports account. You can see all of the podcasts that we've done here this fall. These are all the Why I Coach podcasts. We did the Locker Room podcast. We mentioned Prep Huddle Live. We had turned into a podcast as well. So, and when you click on these, you have the ability to upload a graphic. So we're doing a graphic that we're sharing with this, and Truck Center Companies is part of that too. Write up a little description in here, and then you can share it. And so you can share, and like I said, this is the link that you can tweet, and you can put this link on Facebook as well, and it will go straight to the SoundCloud page. Or what we usually do is we embed the audio, and so you can choose to embed a big picture with the audiogram in front, or kind of a side by side, or just the audiogram like this. We usually do the picture and the audiogram next to each other on the Strive Sports website, and you can pick your colors. That's kind of fun. So SoundCloud, pretty cool. Like I said, there are free accounts. Then you can also pay for an account that gives you a lot more storage space. We have a paid account, and we've added full games of audio on here, softball, basketball games, a lot of podcasts that are 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We had one podcast right before Christmas that was an hour. So all of that is there. And then this is our Strive Sports website. And so here's where this is our podcast tab on the website. And so we've got all of these that we did, and some graphics that we did with them all the way back to the beginning. And then we'll click on the latest one. York Girls coach Matt Kern was on here. And this is what the post looks like. So this is the actual graphic. And then this is what it looks like embedded. So we've got the graphic over here and the audiogram over here. It even tells you that it's been played 157 times. So that's kind of cool. So that is what it looks like there. I will stop my share real quick. And that is a little bit about creating a podcast. So SoundCloud is a fine place to host it. The nice thing also about SoundCloud being a host is you can submit the RSS feed of SoundCloud to iTunes, and anybody with an iTunes account or that iPhone will be able to go into the podcast app and find your podcast there. Now, obviously, you need to share it. So you got to be tweeting those links. You got to be putting links on Instagram. That's what we do. The graphic that you just saw on the Why I Coach one on SoundCloud, we put that on Instagram. And then, of course, you got to do the link in the bio, but that's okay. Which reminds me, I need to do that for Matt's. I haven't done that yet. Put that link on Facebook that goes either to your website or to your SoundCloud page, whatever it is. It's the nice thing about SoundCloud is you don't need a separate website. You don't have to have a separate website. You can just have the SoundCloud page organized well. You can have different playlists that, these are interviews with coaches. These are game replays. These are school announcement type stuff. And that's really the kind of the project for this week. So, or the challenge, if you will, is to create the first step really in all of this podcasting is to create the format for your audio experience. So is it going to be interview based, which is what Why I Coach is? Is it going to be storytelling? Like we said, we've done audio versions of ball games that have been on there. We might be putting the audio version, the audio narration of a championship journey on SoundCloud, and so it will be just the narration and the coaches' comments within there as well. Is this going to be school announcements? Whatever it might be. Is it going to be a recap of the previous night's games that you record real quick? The first step is to create the format of what the experience is going to be, and then you can get into the equipment and the software. So that is the project for the week. And now, as a PS, Alexa Skills is pretty cool. We're very excited about this. If you have an Amazon Echo or a Dot, which is what I have now, we also have the Echo is here as well. You can record your own Alexa skill, and we can definitely help you with this. We've done a lot of trial and error here in the last week to get ours, but we've got a way that if it works for your school and you figure out that, we've got a lot of people in our community that have an Echo or a Dot already in their homes, that enough people would be interested in hearing a flash briefing from the school. What's on the lunch menu today? What are the activities for the day? What was the scores from the games last night? All that kind of stuff you can set up as text to speech, or you can actually, the way we do it, I actually record an audio file and upload it. Now we have a special upload. So SoundCloud doesn't work with Alexa Skills just yet until SoundCloud goes to a secure site, HTTPS. Right now they're just HTTP. That's very technical though. But we are working on a way that if you decide that your school would benefit from having your own school Alexa skill, then we can actually help you get that uploaded to the Amazon account. And we've got a big bucket, as it's called, to be able to put some audio in there. So if you are interested in that, in having your own Alexa skill for your school, your class, whatever it might be, and then have anybody available that has the Amazon app, they go and they subscribe to your skill. There you are then. So, and I'm saying her name so much, she's actually talking to me from across the room, and Sarah knows what I'm talking about. It's over by the iMac, and it's very much picking me up right now. So that is what we've got. But again, we're still working on just exactly how that is going to work for the other schools to upload for the Alexa skill, but definitely something that you guys can be talking about here in the next couple weeks while we work on that from our end to be able to upload that as well. Also, there is a possibility that if we have enough schools that say, the ability to host a podcast within the Strive dashboard would be good as well. We've kicked that idea around. So let's have this be the official kickoff. If your school would be interested in hosting their own podcast, maybe it's once a week, maybe it's every other week. As you can see, with only a microphone, it's a lot less intense of work than as opposed to doing a weekly show. So sometimes audio can be a lot faster in that regard. So you don't have to worry about a camera and lighting and all this different stuff It's a microphone, hit record, and go. So if your school would be interested in hosting a podcast, we might have some ways to put that into your dashboard as well. So be in contact with me or Sarah or Taylor, and let us know if hosting a podcast or hosting an Alexa skill is something you guys are interested in. And we will take a look at all of that and see what we can come up with. Christian whipped it up in like a day to get this thing uploaded. It was amazing. I'd have no idea what happened. I thought he was speaking French for a while. But that's all I've got. Sarah, do you have anything for me or for anybody else?
No, I think you covered it all. That was great.
Okay. Well, then we will wish everyone a great second semester, and stay warm over the next couple of days. It's going to be a little cold and breezy out there. So thanks, everybody.